Hello, people of YouTube. This is Gray's Guitars. I am Steve Gray. Thank you for watching. Today, we are going to be talking about customer service and bad shipping on this Monoprice Stage Right very big monster of a 2x12. And we'll just show you here. We'll go over the features and specs of this momentarily. But let's go ahead and just look over this cabinet first and just show you all the little tiny things. There's a small little scuff right here, and this is brand new. The piping doesn't really line up there. It's not really a straight line across here. It's a little wonky. But, you know, not the end of the world. If we go to the side here, you can see that's kind of hard to see. This area right here, it's a little wonky spot. This is a plastic handle, no metal here. Ooh, that actually looks like a crack. Is that a crack? Nope, not a crack. It's a scratch. Looks like a crack on the camera. That is just a scratch, I assure you. My fingernail can't get in it. I probably did that lifting it out of the box. Come to the top. You got this little wonky piece over here. But we do have some nice metal ends. I don't know if you can see anything over here. I think there was like a bump somewhere over here. Let's see if I can find it. Nah, I'm not really finding it. Let's bring the light over here so that way you can see it better. Let's see, anything wonky over here? Nothing too bad. And then, ooh, yep, a little bit on the edge here, as you can see. It's not like a dent, but it's noticeable. And then we will go ahead and pause this for a minute to flip it around. Alright, so we are turned around now. Here is the bottom. There's a little blemish right there. Probably from putting this piece of wood in. This corner right here too. Maybe a little bit right there on the edge. And maybe a little bump right there as well. So as you can see here, this doesn't actually say Monoprice anywhere on this thing, which is kind of interesting. But I rest assure you, it is a Monoprice Stage Right 2x12 with vintage 30s. So this is essentially the Amazon USA brand Harley Benton equivalent. So Harley Benton right now has a 2x12 for about $255, but you have to pay $100 to ship it to the US. And if you go to their Reverb site, I think they charge like $360 or $370, somewhere around there, roughly. No free shipping to get it to your house. And actually, you can see the tag itself is kind of crooked back here too. Only one input. So it is 120 watts, 8 ohms, 2x12. And yes, it does have real vintage 30s in here. We'll go ahead and shine the light a little bit better for you. But, yeah, you're just seeing the reflection of the light. But, yeah, that is a real vintage 30. This one has a little bit of a scrape there on the sticker, so I don't know what happened to that. But I do assure you, this is fully functional. And what I am curious is what type of vintage 30. So I know these are going to be made in China. A vintage 30 right now, if you buy the speaker by themselves, run you $129. And if you bought it for the sale price I bought it for, you essentially paid for just the speakers. So normally this is the same price as a Harley Benton, but the plus side is you get Amazon's return policy. So if you have Prime or anything like that, very easy to return this. This shipped UPS, and I had to return this not once, but twice. So this is the third one I got. I am keeping this one because the blemishes on this are significantly less major than when I initially bought the first two. So the first one that I bought, there was the box had physically had footprints on it, and this piece right here was literally broken and crushed in, like indentated. The second one that I bought, the box was also beat to crap, and on this side of it, there was a huge crack going all the way down the side of it. So third time is the charm. How they package this thing. So this thing is not light. It is roughly 80 pounds. I'm going to be honest with you. So how they package this is the corners, top and bottom, all have foam. There's a middle piece of foam right here. This does ship with 4 wheels. I don't know if you can see. Yep, you can see the wheel there. The wheels are not attached when it ships. The wheels are kind of hanging out on a handle. That's probably why my one handle is a little bit more beat up than the other one, because the wheels were just flopping around there in a plastic bag. And the box for this one also looked a little bit rough. There was also a large hole, but when I opened it, I was like, oh, thank God, I don't want to return this thing and lug this thing back to UPS. So you could buy this right off of Amazon. Right now, you can only buy the 1x12 model. I don't think they make a 4x12. I could be wrong. But essentially, as I said, this is the Harley Benton equivalent for the USA, except off of Amazon. If you have Amazon Prime, very easy to return this thing, because as I said, I had to return it twice. Once I physically brought it to the UPS store, and the next time, I found out that you can actually have the UPS store pick it up. So it wasn't like an Amazon Prime van, it was actual UPS, and it got damaged twice. I didn't even test to see if the speakers work, but I assure you, I've been playing through this for about a week. Sounds really, really good to me. And what I'm going to do for you to see if this has the clear cone that everyone seems to hate, or the black cone dust cover for the actual vintage 30 speaker, is we're going to take off this back panel, we're going to pop out one of the speakers, and ultimately, we are going to find out what the heck one it is to see if this is worth buying. Because on sale, when I purchased this, it was, I think, it actually fluctuated. I think by the time I returned it for the second time, it actually went down, and I got $7 back. So I think it was about $270 free shipping with Amazon Prime. So that was very, very nice. And as I said, this is an 8-ohm cabinet, 120 watts. 2 vintage 30s, plenty loud enough. This may be replacing my current 4x12 because it is extremely loud. Is this also extremely loud? Yes, but it's definitely half as loud because it has half the amount of speakers. Although dimension-wise, not really that much smaller than the 4x12. So if I can barely shine it here, but the speaker only comes up to about right here, and it ends about right here. So I understand this is sometimes how they construct these things, but realistically, you could have taken about 4 inches off of this on the top and bottom, and probably a ½ inch off of each side. Definitely could have made this smaller and a little bit lighter. But it is real plywood construction. I don't know what kind of plywood. I'm not going to start ripping stuff apart and finding out. But as I said, we will definitely pop the back panel off, pop a speaker off, and see what's going on here. But quality control on shipping is really, really bad with these. If you look in the comments section, you will see, had to return it multiple times. And for some reason, they do not offer an actual exchange, the Monoprice store on Amazon. So I had to actually fully return the item and then purchase a new one, which is kind of annoying if there's a sales price. You know, luckily the sale lasted a couple weeks. As I said, right now they're out of stock. And ironically, so are the Harley Benton 2x12s of this same cabinet type. The major difference being that this is a semi-open back, where you can see the speakers popping out back here, whereas the Harley Benton 2x12 horizontal like this one, not the vertical. I don't think Monoprice has a vertical one. That one, those two both have fully closed backs, to my knowledge. So if you want the fully closed back cabinet, you might go for that. But this was on sale for the right price, as I said, about $270. I've been wanting vintage 30s for a while now to see what all the hype is, and I finally got some for a reasonable price. So let me go ahead, take this bad boy apart. We will figure out what dust cover is actually in these speakers, and then we will go from there. So, just to prove it to you here, I did unscrew the back, as you can see, and in fact, they are using the black dust covers. They are not using the clear ones that everybody hated. And of course, there is my cat. He likes to say hi in all of these floor videos. So yes, they are not using the ones you hate. They are using the newer ones with the correct dust covers. And I am going to go ahead and put this bad boy back together. I had to use my slippers over here, as you can see, because they didn't really give you a lot of wire over here. I mean, they give you wire, but not enough to hold this up without possibly breaking one of the wires, and we are not going to play that game. So I'm going to put this back together, and then we will talk a little bit more about this. So there you have it. Unfortunately, I have to do the rest of this video with a flashlight because my lighting situation, the batteries died and were not charged, and both of them are not currently charged. So I'm currently charging both of them, and I was like, you know what, I'm not going to wait for this thing to charge, because if I do, I'm going to forget what I want to say for the rest of this video. So, as with everything guitar related, you're going to want to make sure all your screws are nice and snug. You don't want to over-tighten them. That's why I always use a handy-dandy screwdriver, preferably magnetic. That way, you don't lose your screws when you're taking things out, and you don't have any problems as well putting it back together, because you want everything to be snug. You don't want to over-tighten it, because then you can strip the wood really, really easily. These were actually bolts on the inside. I don't know if you can see that. Those are bolts, so you also don't want to strip the nut that I believe is somewhere crammed inside the wood. It was a little bit of a pain to put this back together one-handed, to put the speaker in anyway. The back portion of the cab here really wasn't that bad. You know, that came out fairly easily, so if you want to do more of an open back, you can definitely pop this off without any major issues whatsoever. So, would I recommend buying this? If you want vintage 30s at a reasonable price, then yes. Even if this is $370, as I said, I got mine on sale for $270. Wait a while, look for the sale, because that sale might come back again. Right now, they are, as I said, they're completely sold out. So is Harley Benton for the same size cabinet. So as I said, I'm pretty confident these are both coming from the same Chinese manufacturers. The only difference is the back piece, where we are missing a section right here, where this would be one solid piece of wood on the Harley Benton, where this is two separate pieces of wood with this particular cabinet, the Monoprice Stage Right. That if you want the full back covered, I mean, you could probably modify this with a piece of wood. Just measure out the size, cut it out, drill some holes. Me, I'm not going to bother. I like the way it sounds perfectly fine. I've never had a semi-open back or any open back cabinets for that before anything has been closed. So having a different types of speakers and also having a different type of cab are pretty neat, because you definitely hear some differences when you're hooking it up to the same amp, the good old PV6505 and the Carvin MTS 3200. I've had both of those for quite a while now. And that's pretty much the only two things that I play through. That, and I do have a tiny practice amp, but that's more so when I go somewhere to test gear. Only reason I'm keeping that little 1x10 or whatever the heck it is. But keep in mind, there is a good possibility, because of the way they package these, you are going to have to exchange it multiple times. So if you have a little bit of patience, if you don't mind spending the $370, because as I said, these speakers individually are $130. So essentially, when it's full price, around $370, I mean, unfortunately, you have tax on top of that too, I believe. You would basically be paying for just the two speakers and then $100 for the cabinet. And if you look at a Marshall or a Mesa Boogie, Harley Benton, you got to deal with overseas, so that may be a little bit of a problem if you get something damaged, which some people have. If you want to go the Harley Benton route, I would suggest a Reverb. That's probably a little bit easier. But with this, going through Prime, as I said, the first time I physically brought it to UPS, no issues, returned it, got the money back. The second time, I had the option of actually having them come and get it, where basically I put a note on it out on the sidewalk there in the front of the house, and they basically said, hey, if you need help loading this in the truck, knock, let me know. I believe they did give you a time range they were going to be there to pick it up, so that was helpful as well, but returned it, no real major issues there whatsoever. So it sounds good. This one finally looks decent. Keep in mind, you may have some minor cosmetic things. As I said, there's a couple of scratches, a couple of weird spots under the Tolex, which is probably the wood just being uneven. As I said, it is some sort of plywood. You can definitely feel that, but it's heavy. You know, as I said, this bad boy weighs 80 pounds, so if you're looking for something light, this probably isn't for you. Keep that in mind, too. My full-size 4x12 is slightly under 100 pounds, if I remember correctly, so I save a little bit of weight. The recessed handles are very nice for grabbing it. You have the handle up top, obviously, for grabbing it, too. But I'm happy with the product. I'm not happy with the shipping. That's what it comes down to. Monoprice, Stage Right, whoever you are, if you see this video, I would highly suggest having, you know, either double box it maybe, or possibly, I know it's going to cost a little bit more money, but then you get a lot less returns. That's my guess, because multiple comments on this thing have said, hey, I had to return this because it was damaged in shipping. That's literally, if you go to the listing, if you can find it, they might do a whole new listing, so all the feedback might be gone by the time they list it, but that is the biggest complaint I have seen, is that it got damaged during shipping. So any of the damage that it currently has, did that happen during shipping? Maybe, you know, maybe that tiny little indentation right there, but, you know, you can't even see that. I'm not going to really worry about it, and it's not like it went through the Tolex. That might have just been like a weird glue spot or something, or when they were putting on the corner. But that's the biggest complaint I have, as I said. It sounds fine. It works like it should. I believe this has a 1-year manufacturer warranty for those of you that are worried about that. You know, usually when speakers work, they're good to go. I'm going to double check that it's still working after I finish filming this to make sure I didn't mess nothing up. It's on film too, so there goes my warranty. I'm just kidding. I didn't actually mess with the wires. I literally just took some screws out and put them back in. I didn't physically unplug anything. But definitely make sure you're using the correct amp head with this too. And as I said, if you have a little bit of patience, wait for this to be on sale for around $270, and then be aware you're probably going to have to return it at least once to get one that's not trashed. One that doesn't have footprints on it, potentially a forklift hole in it. That's what people were saying on the Firefly double neck, that the first one that I got, it looks like someone put a forklift through the box, which makes sense. You know, it's surprising that guitar wasn't shattered, but, you know, they worked with me too. So I've been over 2 lately with the guitar stuff buying online. I've been, you know, this I had to return twice. I had to exchange the Firefly once, so I'm definitely done buying products online for a little bit of time, unless I see that Buckethead. There was a Buckethead style baritone, so you know the Buckethead I reviewed, Firefly made a baritone version of that. They also made an EVH copy and a Tony Iommi copy, so there's like 3 guitars on Firefly right now that I'm very tempted to buy if they come back in stock. We'll just have to wait and see. But I will be doing a demo of this, so if you want to actually hear how this sounds, I know this was a longer video of me just kind of going through it, showing you the speakers that are in it, kind of complaining about the shipping process as well. Also, as I said, you know, props to Amazon for making it very easy to return this thing. As I said, on their website as well. I don't know about their actual website, if you go to Monoprice's website, but on Amazon, as I said, there was not an exchange option. You could only return it and then buy it again. That was how you had to do it. They did not give you an actual exchange option. I don't know if it's harder or easier, whatever. As I said, 3rd time's the charm with this bad boy. So I'm not going to drag this out any longer. I appreciate those of you that have stayed through probably this 20 or so minute video. And then I will also be doing a demo. You know, I'll do some single coils, I'll do some humbuckers, maybe I'll probably break out the double neck so you can hear a 12 string through it as well. If you're interested in that, maybe put a bass through it or something. We'll make that a little bit longer video too, you know, 20 to 30 minutes as well. And I appreciate all the new subscribers that I've been getting. It is great. It is awesome. We're closing in on 1,000. So hopefully I'll be able to get monetized soon and make a few pennies off of some of these videos that I've been making for the past couple of years. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, turn on that notification bell, like, share. All of it helps. And as always, have a good one.